The War Within's decaying world tree, Elun's legacy endures. We've heard rumblings of this before. Interesting evidence that we could be going deep into the ground and figuring out where the old world tree's roots once lie. I think Zaxxas is about to get into some of that lore. Let's check out what he's discovered about some of the lore we're going to be getting in the War Within.
Sharpen your axes, heroes. We've got a tree to deal with. Welcome back to part 2 of the Elun Truth saga. Last episode, in part 1, we took a look at the cosmos through the eyes of Elun, unmasking the Earth Mother of legend as the mother of world souls, with Azeroth as the champion of her balance. Now it's time to back these claims up. I'm your host, Nazax, broadcasting from Knowledge Wars HQ. And what if I told you that Dragonflight and the War Within have already provided us vital pieces to this puzzle?
I think he's right.
Elun'Ahir and Khazalgar, Legacy of Elun, Decay, and the fungi friends of Elun'Ahir? Yeah, that's right, I'm talking fungus, mold, spores, and mycelium. Did you know that on a biological level, animals are considered closer to fungi than plants?
That's actual science. This man's giving us legitimate facts. Animals are closer to fungi than plants. Damn.
A mushroom breathe the same air, taking in oxygen to vitalize your body. And using their vast mycelium networks underneath
we're going biological right now.
Many fungi live in symbiosis with the root systems of trees. The web-like system of mycelial threads weaves and connects the different plants and trees, facilitating a better flow for nutrients and resources.
Yeah, it's just the video. The video's volume is kind of low. I tried hiring as much as I can.
This is mycorrhiza. It's a pretty sweet deal for both the trees and fungus, occurring virtually anywhere in the world that plants can grow. In fact, the largest known organism in the world is a mycelial network of the honey fungus, covering over 2,200 acres of forested Oregon, and is estimated to be thousands of years old.
Did he say, isn't this the largest animal ever? I remember reading this somewhere, that this is like the largest living organism in the world. Mycelial network honey fungus covering over 2,200 acres of forest in Oregon. Damn. It's a tree, yes.
Of forested Oregon.
Isn't it? I don't know. Well, he's saying it's a fungus. But anyways, I believe it was documented as the largest living organism. There might be something in the ocean. Correct me if I'm wrong. If anybody knows, there's like this worm or something in the ocean that can actually grow in terms of length longer. But in terms of square footage, I believe this is the largest living organism on the planet.
Estimated to be thousands of years old. So why would
there's that tree. Yes, the tree. I know what you're talking about now. You're not saying that's a tree. There is the tree that turns out to be one giant tree. It's a network of trees. Yes, this is true. That was another one, Tundra. Yeah, I think I've read an article on that as well. Yeah, we'll give you a show, the largest living organism.
Of the world of Warcraft be any different? Up until Dragonflight and the War Within, we had rarely seen references to mycelium pop up, but that's all about to change.
Oh, shit.
As Cavern finally introduced a
this is legit.
Named Mycelium Mastery, and the subterranean world of Khazalgar is teeming with fungal wildlife, with one of the first delves of 11.0 being named Mycomancer Cavern.
Oh my god, this is legit. This biology actually relates to the lore. I thought he was just going off on a tangent. Damn.
We've seen lots of mushrooms, spores, and fungal creatures throughout the game's history, from Draenor to Maldraxxus and a few places in between. So don't you find it strange that we haven't explored this mycelium connection as it pertains to the ever-famous world trees of Azeroth?
He might be onto something.
Elun'Ahir, the first world tree. In patch 10.2, Guardians of the Dream, this book, The Legend of Elun'Ahir, details the story of its planting and sorrowful fate, leaving clues to its whereabouts. Seeking to bring
Alex, thank you for the 100 bits, man. I appreciate that.
Hope and healing, Elun'Ahir carried a gift given to her by Elun, a branch of G'Hanir, the Mother World Tree, believing that its influence would drive away the darkness. So she reached down, planting the branch where it could be fed by river and sky. Its roots extend.
Aman'Thul hated this shit. He's gonna go into the lore, I'm sure, but Aman'Thul came around. He was like, "What the hell did you do?" and ripped this shit out. And you know, I think Elun'Ahir is still upset about this. She might end up siding with us in the end because of this very event that he's describing right now.
Deep, deep below the surface, it swiftly grew into a tree, which she named Elun'Ahir in honor of her great love. When Aman'Thul saw what Elun'Ahir had done, he chided her.
This is not order.
He bellowed.
You have infected this world with uncontrolled chaos.
And the High Father grabbed the tree by the trunk and tore it from the earth. Elun'Ahir wept bitter tears that rained down upon the resulting crater. Unbeknownst to Aman'Thul, underground the roots fed upon the tears of Elun'Ahir and grew strong. And Elun'Ahir was pleased, knowing that Elun's legacy would endure.
There it is.
Apparently much later, as the world entered a new age, mysterious guardians arrived to dedicate their lives to protecting the roots. But we're told that's a tale for...
Oh, mysterious guardians. Could this be about the stony boy dwarves that are gonna become the playable race now? What are they called, man? Oh, damn it, I can't remember. But yeah, I guess he'll get into it. That's could be what they're referencing.
Presumably penned
The Earthen,
by a
yes.
member of the Green Dragonflight, this legend should be considered biased towards Elun'Ahir's cause, and may not be the whole truth as it pertains to the Black Empire and the Old Gods, as it heavily mirrors the Chronicles' telling of that history. But analyzing this history, cross-referenced with the War Within Zone previews, reveals hidden truths and raises questions. What is the so-called uncontrolled chaos that Aman'Thul claims Elun'Ahir infected this world with?
Yeah, there's something about the world tree that the Void Lords or that the old gods like. You know, we've heard it referenced before in the Whispers of N'Zoth. Deeper, remember, deeper, its roots will grow. There's something about the roots of the world tree. Maybe it got to the world soul in some way, got through the orb, you know, the prison that we believe the world soul is currently in, thanks to the Titans. And maybe they gained access to the world soul thanks to these roots. That could be it.
Does it relate to Elun's legacy enduring through the roots? You guessed it.
Thanks,
Fungus,
NFJ.
the mycelial network of the first world tree, spreading beneath and beyond Elun'Ahir's influence. These decomposers of the natural world play a vital role in recycling the energy and resources in ecosystems through a necessary but unsettling process, decay. As one of the key elements in the Warcraft universe, this force is as natural as life itself. A vital part of Elun's cycle, turning end into beginning, but is particularly antithetical to the Titans' desired order.
Yeah.
The mycelium
I wouldn't think the Titans like decay. I would think they are kind of anti-decay. Decay is, you know, it's chaotic. There's nothing orderly to it.
Grew within Elun'Ahir's roots, enraged Aman'Thul. But chances are that
there's no decay without life, true.
Probably only furthered the decay within the roots. In the War Within, Blizzard is finally realizing the original vision for Azul-Nirub, as it was supposed to feature back in Wrath of the Lich King, with the new zone Azkahet. And if you recall, Northrend is also home to a dead world tree, Vordrasil.
That's true.
With Metzen back at the helm, we just have a hunch that he's revisiting these themes that they may have missed out on delivering to us all those years ago. In Azkahet, the Nerubian zone coming up at 11.0, we can see glimpses of a large root system stretching down into their darkened tunnels. While some regions appear verdant and lively, the depths of Azkahet fester with rot, decay, and all manner of mold.
Yeah, there's lots of mold and fungi. He's right. A lot of these clips that we saw of these zones do show off things like mushrooms and everything.
And the source of this filthy fungus? The roots of Elun'Ahir.
I kind of agree with this.
Secrets of Elun video, the true legacy of Elun is balance. And whether or not Aman'Thul likes it, decay and death are natural parts of the cycles of spirit and life. But here's where things can get spooky. Remember back in BFA where we delved into Elun'Ahir, the Titan facility, holding a pseudo-old god created by the Titans?
Gahun, yes.
Gahun's rot, decay, and mold was a key theme to his raid and dungeons, despite being a blood god to the trolls that followed him. But take a look at these names when paired together. Gah'nir, Gahun, Elun'Ahir, Elun'Ahir. Coincidence? Well, we'll have to see. But is it really a leap to think that Elun'Ahir and Gahun were created as results of studying what happened with the so-called uncontrolled chaos born from Elun'Ahir's roots? Now you might be thinking, how can we be certain that Elun'Ahir was planted in Khaz-Algar?
Right.
Well, when we consider the crater left behind with the tears of Elun'Ahir, as mentioned in the legend, take a look at Hallowfall and it all starts clicking together. We'll get to that crystal in the ceiling, don't worry. A&R planted the tree where it could be nourished by river and sky, and the Isle of Dorn is described as having fertile soil, flowering plant life, and generous
So
waterways.
it fits that description,
And
yeah.
the legend of Elun'Ahir only popped up on the 10.2 PTR a few weeks before the announcement of the World Soul Saga, making the Tale for Another Timeline particularly meaningful.
Kate, it's a mythic raid puts you to sleep. I think you just need to get more sleep. How about that?
From the perspective of a green dragon, the Earthen, who
Decay
were
only
fashioned
affects the
by
physical realm.
Khaz'goroth and his
Yeah.
keepers, would indeed seem like
Yeah,
this.
there was no decay in the Shadowlands. That is true. And I hate to refer to Shadowlands lore, but there was no essence of decay. Although we did see things wither away. Without anima in Ardenweald, we saw the forests kind of dying and stuff like that. The leaves changing. So, I guess in a way there is some decay without the nourishment of anima, but it's a completely different cycle over there. They are already in death, so what happens after that is just, I guess, like a withering. There is no recycling going on. Thanks, Alex, for the 100 bits, man. I appreciate that. If we think about how that whole cycle works in the Shadowlands, there is no recycling, or even the areas that in Valdrakken, where the light has burned things away, right? It seems like after the Shadowlands, if something withers away, it's not like Decay where it comes back to life. It's just, that's it. It ceases to be. So it is different in a way, and that means it's not Decay.
Mysterious guardians who later came to protect the roots, as Earthen are suggested to have been deployed on a number of worlds in classic Alderman. It just so happens that
Just
the
had to bring
Earthen
the
of
dirt.
Khaz'goroth are a unique circumstance, and their peculiar behavior is documented in the revamped Alderman. For Season of Discovery players, I'd recommend searching Alderman for these, quote, records related to geological anomalies in Season 2.
Yeah, it ceases to
So what's
exist
this
altogether.
got to do
Exactly,
with
Decay.
Elun'Ahir? Watcher Millennia asks, is this distinctiveness due to the exposure to the unique qualities of the anomaly, or is there another reason? Well, it's probably fair to assume that the anomaly is the Merodar crystal in Hallowfall, but I propose that there is indeed another reason for the Earthen's free will and blooming individuality in Khaz'goroth. Introducing Fuzan the First, a great tree planted by Freya to populate Azeroth during the ordering of the young world.
Oh,
Elun'Ahir may be the coolest new claim to the title of First World Tree, but back in Legion, the monk artifact for Brewmasters is a walking stick crafted by Freya from a branch of Fuzan. Could there
Oh,
be
I didn't
a
know this.
correlation between Elun'Ahir and Fuzan the First? The great tree was said to have been planted near the Vale of Eternal Blossoms. And
right, but this
grew
was a great tree. Is it different than a world tree? Are the two, great and world? I'm guessing a great tree is lesser than a world tree.
Can always use another Death Knight.
Damn, that was loud as hell because this video's so low. I have my volume pumped up. Thank you so much, Leaky, man. The Prime sub, 7 months. Oh my god. Moishi is a bitch, he says. Thank you so much for that message. It was wonderful. And the sub, Death Knight of our Scourge.
Dream as well as Azeroth, much like we've seen from Amir Drasil. Legend holds that all of Pandaria's forests blossomed from this first tree. Well, wouldn't you know it, Khaz'goroth and the Isle of Dorn are located off the western coast of Pandaria. And the Earthen who live on the surface are all about brewing. Harvesting a molten honey from the hives
Interesting.
of giant fiery bees and using it to create Cinderbrew mead. You know what else lives in hives?
Cinderbrew. Yes,
The cure.
was Cinderbrew. Didn't he say it's an instance? One of the instances that we're going to be doing is going to be called Cinderbrew. Very cool. Yeah, I could see this guy's making some great connections, man. It's great stuff. Thank you, Alex, for the 100 bits, man.
Lithids, Mantids, and Nerubians. The cinder bees of the Isle of Dorn are bugs after all, and very likely are born of the most ancient life forms that spread across Azeroth, the Old Gods.
Yeah.
And we all know that bees make honey by harvesting pollen from flowers. In this case, flowers
Well, are
grow-
bees though from the old gods? Are all bug creatures from the old gods? I don't know. I don't know about that. We know the Aekir and stuff like that, the influence of the old gods. I believe the Aekir, lore-wise, I think they were here prior to the old gods, but they worshipped the old gods because of the deals they made together. There was kind of like this, mutual love between the two. So I don't know if just the sentient ones, yeah, that was after old god influence, they became more sentient. The Aekir became the Nerubians and things like that we know today. but I believe they were here prior. The Aegir were here prior to any old god influence. I could be wrong. So I don't know if I would say all bugs are related to the old gods, but sure, yeah, sentient ones, definitely, just like Curse of Flesh, has affected us, they become more sentient through old god influence.
On the sacred grounds of the first world tree. Don't you see it? The Titan-forged dwarves are drinking the Elun'Ahir fueled old god juice that makes them less adherent to the edicts of the Titans.
He might be onto something there. Yeah, because they are breaking away from the Titan influence, becoming more sentient, as we just described, becoming more individual in their thinking. So yeah, that could be true.
It's the friggin' bees! So, if
What's up,
Khazal-Gar
baby
is
Jay?
established as home to the roots of Elun'Ahir, we ought to be asking the question, what exactly was the darkness that Elun'Ahir was attempting to drive away from this spot? Geographically speaking, it could very well just be either Cthulhu or Yasaraj's corruption. Or you might think the void energy from the crystal in Hallowfall. But we know that crystal only recently began to go into a dark...
Tundra Freeze, you confirm that it's in the lore. All bugs are born from the gunk of the old gods. Okay, so I stand corrected then. Now all bugs do come from the old gods. Okay, so then this lore even makes more sense. Damn, I think he's totally right about the honey and everything, and it making the earthen less adherent to the Titans.
State.
Interesting.
Given that it's jammed in the ceiling of the cavern, and pairing the timeline
Oh, yeah, the
with
crystal.
the legend of
Okay.
Elun'Ahir, it's safe to say that the crystal probably did not arrive until after the Titans had reshaped the surrounding surface, covering the crater left behind by Amun-Thul. Which raises another question. What was the Merodar crystal aimed at, and why did it arrive when it did? Is there something inside of it? Well, here's the stinger. Elun'Ahir and the Merodar crystal in Hallowfall were both meant to cleanse something darker below Khazal-Gar. Two different means to the same end.
Shit.
Folks, stay tuned. To keep things orderly, we're going to split this Elun'Ahir Merodar mystery into two halves for your viewing convenience. In part 2.5, we will delve deep into the terrifying Cobisian depths and crack open the Merodar's luminous secrets in a speculative patch 11.2 prediction
Nice.
that you won't want to miss.
Oh, damn.
Thank
The
you
Elune
for
Truth
tuning
Saga.
into this episode of Knowledge Wars, where the truth isn't just out there, it's buried under layers of fungal rot and Titan machinery. I hope you enjoyed this first quick look into the War Within's launch content as it pertains to the Elune Truth Saga, and we can't wait to show you how it comes together in the next chapters. Remember, folks, you are the resistance to the Nerubian Mushroom Monarchy. No further discounts on Catch-A-Bite supplements.
On Casualmite supplements. Great video. Yeah, very interesting stuff. You say, Tundra, you're saying is if their master were to return, they will follow them. The Mantid said this. Yes, because like I said before, I wasn't sure about the Aegir in terms of their origin, but I know everything that came from the Aegir, including the Mantid, the Nerubians, all the other bug races. They are, in fact, yes, of the old gods, because it was the old god influence on the Aegir that eventually turned them into what they currently are. So yes, they do have an inbred, a deep loyalty to the old gods. So yes, they will eventually follow them, of course. My whole thing was, do the Aegir necessarily come from the old gods? And I believe you said they do. All bugs come from the gunk of the old gods, as you described. Yeah. Imagine if there were no PTR and it was all raw discovery. I think Blizzard's trying to do that. Some people say that the reset yesterday, on Tuesday, the 8-hour reset, part of that was they were trying to build into the system a way to put stuff into the game without making it data mineable. Actually, Alex, so you might be onto something. They're trying to change how they do that so there's more surprises in the game and less data mining of lore going on.